What's going on, guys? Dill here, bringing you a Black Clover discussion video. I just finished up the series this week, so I thought I'd make a video discussing the strengths and weaknesses of the series that I saw. Um, there's a lot of hype surrounding this series. A lot of people say it's garbage, it's generic, and then you have other people saying, don't listen to them. You just gotta get a little bit into it. You gotta get over the first little hump, the beginning, and it gets really good. And I personally enjoyed the series a lot. It's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. It's not perfect, um, but I liked it a lot. And I'll go ahead and start off with the weaknesses. The biggest weakness of Black Clover to me is not the genericness, but the pace. The pace is like it's the fastest pace you could possibly have in a manga. It is just rolling through plot points, just fight after fight after fight after fight after fight, giving the strongest fights just right off the bat, just having the strongest people that we know in the entire series fight very early on. Um, and that's actually not completely bad. Like that's just the style of this manga, but it was just like because I like kind of in the middle. Like you have stuff like One Piece that One Piece is like my favorite series and everything, but it's slow. It's like huge build up for a very large reward. And then you have the complete other end of the spectrum, which is Black Clover, which is just like meat and potatoes right fucking now. Like fights right now, everybody's fighting, plot points, backs, like everything's happening right now. And that to me is the biggest weakness because if it could dial it down just like a little bit. Like I like the fast pace, but maybe just not this fast. Um, as far as the genericness goes, you have like 1 out of 20 people will tell you that Naruto is a ripoff of Hunter x Hunter. And Naruto is the most popular series in the entire world. So like as far as genericness goes, a lot of fucking manga takes from other manga. So I'm not too hung up on that. Like that's already something I expect and I see it in everything I read shonen, like just taking from each other like different concepts and stuff. Um so that's not a big deal to me. The biggest weakness of Black Clover is the pacing. Is the everybody fighting everybody like right off the bat. Um, it definitely is. It's basically only a battle manga. Like the story, like there's a story there, but it's really about just fighting and matchups. And like something that um, there obviously is a story to it, but it's just so focused on the battle that the story takes it's way in the background. And the how do I say this? They show way too much too soon. Like the Wizard King, like already did. Spoiler alert: the Wizard King already just being offed. That killed me because the build up to the Wizard King was amazing and his fight was fucking insane. When he put the clock in the sky, Jesus fucking Christ! When he put the clock that rolled back time in the sky, that is my favorite moment in the entire series. And as badass as it was, I did not want to see his life end there, but yeah, it's just and they do there's kind of this weakness where they do too many characters. Like they have they have you stretch so many different ways. Like there's just so many characters to be invested in that it gets confusing at times. More so with the names, just like me trying to keep everybody's names just everybody's name straight. That's the hardest part for me, honestly. But there's just way too many because you have a lot of series that don't have enough characters fleshed out, and then you have Black Clover, which tries to just make it just there's just so many characters that they're trying to do stuff with and give fights, and um, for the final weakness, I would say that well, two more weaknesses. One is you have really strong people falling too easily, like being defeated way too easily. Um, that's one thing. Like the dude with the copy magic just being fucking just annihilated. Like he was built up so much and then he just got this shit stomped out of him. And kind of like it's hard to really dictate who's stronger than who. And that's another weakness. Like we have two different kinds of magic and we go against each other and then it's basically just the plot telling us who's going to win because like there are things where it's like yeah this magic is like strong against this magic, and this magic can't be used against this magic. But overall, it's just like two people just spamming their magic, and then one of them, I, it, you guys kind of get what I'm saying? It's like there's no clear way to see like a matchup and how it's gonna pan out. So I'm trying to think of a way to word that better. There's just so many instances in it where people are just like it's two different kind of magic and they're going at it and stuff, and it seems like it's kind of strategy at first, and it's really about just who the author has dig deeper, and that's like a typical manga type shit. But it's in Black Clover, it's especially bad. It's like when two people go up to a fight, it's like yeah, the good guy's gonna win. I mean, and it's not. I don't know. It's usually not through a technicality or anything. It's usually like just some obscure like but it it's kind of hard. I might make kind of like a I might come back to that because I don't really know how to explain what I'm saying, but you guys might get what I'm saying. Um, let's go on to the strengths. The strengths of the series will go with Yuna is a huge strength. It's one of the best I've seen them do a rival. Like I love as a character, how he's not too much either way. Like he's not a bad guy. He's asked his friend, he wants to see Asta do well, but not at the expense of himself. Like he's still competitive enough that he would stomp Asta into the ground to become the Wizard King. And it's not out of ill will, it's just out of their competitive spirit. So I think that was done very well. I think that another strength would be, because it just depends on what you like, what kind of manga you like. So if you are just all about the fights, like you like DBZ, like if you like DBZ, I feel like you'd like Black Clover because it's just fight after fight after fight after fight after fight, just spamming it, and it's just a lot of poundy type stuff where it's just spamming shit and spamming shit and spamming shit. It's less about like for example, like, and this is kind of what I was alluding to a minute ago in the weaknesses, but let's say like part one Naruto versus part two Naruto, where it's like you go from just being really, you think it's like you're being really strategic and tactical, and that's what you think when I'm first reading Black Clover. I think it's like their magic, it's like a game of chess and how they use their magic and shit, and then it really just turns into just fucking just using non-stop shit, spamming it. Does that make sense? So if you like those kind of mangas, you would love Clover. Like if you like just the 0 to 100 pace of just like the snowballing effect where it just keeps getting more and more intense, and them just using every single character, you would like that a lot. Asta obviously is Asta's the reason I love Black Clover because in like I basically just want to see Asta run through everybody with his anti-magic shit, and I think it's a very interesting concept for someone to have anti-magic in a world of magic. It's kind of cliche because it's always like for example, My Hero Academia. It's like, of course, the main character is born without a power, but then he gets the strongest power. And it's the same thing in Black Clover, but there's something that we like about that. That's why we watch anime. I like how he looks. I like just his swords and shit look badass. His demon form. Um, yeah. So another strength. Basically this all like everything I just said falls into the category of characters. Like Black Clover, it does have a shit ton of characters, and that can be a weakness, like just having too many characters all over the place. It can also be a strength because you have just these large scale battles with so many moving pieces, and you have there's so many badass people that have gotten fights, like Yami and Julius in particular. I'm just fascinated by, like, those two characters have fascinated me so much in the series. Like, I'm basically watching the series for Asta, Yuno, Yami, and Julius. Like, those four, I just like to see how they do with everybody else. And that's just naming a couple. There's obviously like loads of interesting characters. There's a lot of throwaways too that I don't care for. But yeah, another strength would be the creativeness of the power system, because even though it is spammy and stuff, just the concept of how that world works and how everyone has like their own unique magic and their own grimoire, it's really interesting. And just later on, I think it's going to pay off more than like in the short term. It doesn't seem like there's much story. There's just little tidbits and stuff. But later on, when we find out like the origin of like the different clovers and stuff, and I think it's going to be interesting, like, why Asta was chosen as, like, the anti-magic user. Um, so another strength would be it has a very, very, like, how I said, if you like battle manga and stuff, you like this. It has a war arc that it's currently in right now. It's about to wrap up. Like, we're at the climax right now, where we're just about to get to the final battle. We're getting our way to there. It is fucking intense. Like, it is the best part of the entire series, in my opinion. Them just, like, just this full on fucking, it's like, it's definitely like a war arc. And it's fucking, it's long as shit too. And it's just countless fight after fight after fight. And like, it's done well. Like, this part of it is done really well, where like, it was like, the pace is like extremely fast and shit, but once we got to this part, like, it's in the capital. The world's excuse me, the world's coming down. It's fucking nuts. Just all the different, just seeing Yami go off, fucking seeing Noelle activate her fucking, like, her armor and shit, and be more like her mom, and resolve her, like, family issues. My bad, guys. um a lot of interesting fucking shit. And I really like how Asta and Yuno's, like, they're like new forms of, it's, for Yuno it's like a spirit mode. For Asta it's like the anti-magic mode, but where they both, like, one side of them has, like, the fucking, like, for Yuno it's like a crown and then a wing, and then for Asta it's like a horn and a wing. Like, it's fucking insane. um so strength, another strength I would say, like, at, go past the war arc, another strength for Black Clover would be just like the, okay, just, I already said, like, the power system was amazing, but like when they add, like, the broken ass fucking abilities into it, like, there's something in Black Clover called spirits, and spirits, like, give you, like, spirits can give you just the most broken fucking ability. Like, Yuno has, like, the wind spirit, and he just, like, his fucking rain on wind right now is unreal. The shit he can do, just, like, literally fucking god type shit with wind. And there's somebody in the Black Bulls who has a spirit that basically lets her manipulate fate and, like, destiny without giving, like, a shit ton away. But it just, when they add the really broken shit into the, because with all the spammy shit and just the, balls to the wall stuff, when you have two different people just using the most broken spells, and actually in, like, a technical way, it can be very fucking interesting. Like, so the Black Bulls were in, like, this dream universe, and the way they had to figure out how to get out of the dream world that one of the Magic Knights had, Magic Knight captains, like, could control and everything. It's fucking insane. And I'm kind of all over the place here, but to go back to the war arc, one of the most interesting parts about the war arc is that, like, because this is honestly the brilliance of having so many characters in this series. Like, they have all these fucking characters they fleshed out, so many of them, and then more than half of them, yeah, 3/4 of them, at a certain point in the story, get taken over. Like, they get taken over. Just, I don't want to get too much into it, but it's so badass. They get fucking taken over, and by different, yeah. So you have the main characters just fighting all these good guys that are now bad guys and their magic's amplified, like, through the fucking roof. So you just have all these, like, Magic Knight captains and just Magic Knights with broken ass abilities, and a few of the main characters have to fight all of them, and it's so insane and just unrealistic, because, like, you have people that shouldn't be able to beat these people already, and then they have this power boost, and then they beat them anyways, and it's kind of like a cheesy thing, or not, I wouldn't say cheesy, but it's kind of like, some of the power scaling doesn't add up, honestly, but it's pretty fucking badass, especially when you're just reading it if you're just reading, like, a couple chapters a day, I don't know, but, like, when I just read all of this in, like, fucking a couple days, like, it was intense. It was a rush, like, reading through them, going through the capital, and fucking, like, fighting everybody, all the friends, all these strong ass fucking people, seeing their magic, like, their, like, fucking trump cards and everything. Just, it's a pretty good series, guys. It just, to wrap this up, I would say that it moves way too fast is its biggest fault, and if it could just flesh out the story and the universe slightly more, um, I don't know, just needs a little bit more build up for some stuff. I would like to see and I would also like to see an arc where Asta just goes and trains anti-magic, um, like heavily. Like I would like to see him go. I would like to see a time skip in this universe at some point. Like it doesn't have to be soon necessarily, but maybe if like let's say we're halfway through, if we were halfway through part one of Black Clover right now, and then there's a time skip, and then to see them as Magic Knight captains, I think that would be amazing. But I would say the series is pretty good. I would suggest you read it. It's only like 190 something chapters in, and it's right to the point. You know, you won't get bored with it. It's too oversaturated. That's the problem with Black Clover. It's just it gives you so much that you just expect it, and it's not as like surprising. But the good moments are fucking amazing. Okay, so I would suggest reading the series. So thanks, guys. Dylan Moon is not here, but Dylan Shimp is out.